Good morning. Thank you so much, President Gerard, for the introduction, and thank you for your great leadership on behalf of working families in this country and around the world. And thank you to our youth for such beautiful music this morning. And thank you all for being here today and for inviting me to spend a few minutes speaking with you. The future of the labor movement and the environmental movements must be collaborative. And gatherings like this help us to outline a vision of our shared interests, things like a clean and healthy and strong communities and environment. More and more workers realize how much is at stake with climate change and other environmental issues. They want their daily activities to contribute towards solutions. At the Michigan AFL-CIO, we have a comprehensive good jobs agenda, and we recognize that green jobs are a critical growth industry that cannot be ignored. Increasingly, our efforts will overlap with those of environmental organizations when we are organizing for our common goals. In fact, back in January when we rolled out the Good Jobs Plan, standing with the labor movement in that rollout and endorsing the Good Jobs Plan were our friends and allies from the Sierra Club, the Michigan Clean Water Action, Progress Michigan, America Votes, Michigan Voices, the Michigan League for Human Services, the Blue-Green Alliance, Michigan Citizens Action, and We Are the People. And since January, when we rolled out the plan, we've been working with friendly legislators to put the kinds of legislation that are called for in the plan on the legislative timeline. And I'm happy to say that just this past Monday, the Michigan State AFL-CIO, the Blue-Green Alliance, the Sierra Club, and Michigan Clean Water Action, and a number of small business partners held 3 press conferences in Michigan to support the introduction of green to gold legislation in the State House of Representatives. Thank you. Now, there are hundreds of thousands of these kinds of jobs that Michigan stands to capture, a significant number of them, if our legislature does the right thing. So Representative Bruner, Representative Meadows, and Representative Hovey Wright were out in front to support this legislation. And what the legislation does, it creates a revolving loan fund that would provide seed money for clean energy startups and help Michigan manufacturing facilities retool to be greener. So in Muskegon and Lansing and Bay City, the press conferences were held, and the green to gold idea was greeted with a significant amount of media attention and with widespread public support. We know that protecting our environment and protecting our jobs are inextricably linked. And on that jobs plan, the next piece of legislation that we are working on is Buy Michigan, Buy American. So stay tuned for more information about that. But the fact of the matter is that the majority of Lansing politicians are not paying attention to job creation and environmental protection. So it's up to us to hold their feet to the fire on these issues. We need to continue to apply pressure through letter writing campaigns to both your elected representatives and your local newspapers. And of course, we need to work to elect more responsive elected officials, just like David Hecker said earlier. So I just want to take a minute to talk about what Lansing politicians are up to if they aren't focused on fixing our economy and safeguarding our natural resources. Unfortunately, they're taxing seniors' pensions. They are placing undemocratic, unelected emergency managers in place of elected officials in local communities and school districts. And there have been a whole host of attacks on workers' rights that have already become law. And if that wasn't bad enough, There are about 80 other additional bills that are pending and under consideration that would further dismantle collective bargaining rights, which built the middle class. And over lunch break today, I'm going to be talking a bit more about the Protect Our Jobs campaign in detail, which, as David Hecker referred to, is the effort to enshrine collective bargaining rights into the state constitution. Although it may not be immediately apparent, I would just like to point out that protecting collective bargaining rights is an important environmental issue. Without collective bargaining protections, employees have less power to blow the whistle on companies that are breaking existing environmental regulations, and they have no avenue to push for stronger safety environmental standards. So we will not have a strong economy nor a sane environmental policy as long as working families are under attack. So I'm encouraged and inspired to see so many people here today representing so many diverse groups and interests. When I talk with people, I talk about the power that we have, in fact, the superpower that we have. And I believe that our power and our superpower here is through working together collectively. Working together, we believe we can and we must build a greener future on a foundation of workers' rights. So thank you very much for inviting me here to speak at your conference. I look forward to speaking a little bit more later on at lunchtime to the Michigan delegation, and best wishes for a great conference. Thank you.